Life wisdom.
What stresses you out the most? Leave me a comment and let me know. In this video, I'm counting down my top 10 tips for stress relief, so favorite this video and come back whenever you're feeling stressed out. Chances are, if you're stressed out, you don't think you have any time for stress relief. But the fact is, we can't afford not to make some time for stress relief. While I know it seems really important that we get all of our errands done, a life full of stress just isn't worth it. Stress compromises our immune system, so we can actually get sick more often. It can cause indigestion, infertility, and can even prevent weight loss. Recognize that stress is going to increase your likelihood of developing chronic disease and just general illness. At the end of our life, it's going to be a lot more important that we took care of our physical and mental health than if we just got all of our errands done. My favorite recommendation for people who don't have time for stress relief is the 1-minute breathwork meditation. So you repeat this mantra: there will never be enough time for me to get all of the things done that I want to do. And that's okay. And while it sounds really silly, accepting the fact that we're never going to have time to do all the things we want to do is something that we can't avoid, and the faster that we can just accept that, the better we're going to feel. So this 1-minute meditation, you repeat this mantra to yourself, just focus on your breath, relax. One of the most important things for me is noticing the tension in my brow and reminding myself to relax my brow, to relax my face, relax the muscles that you're feeling tense. And if you just start with this 1 minute per day, no more, no less, then this is a really good way to kind of build in a little habit of stress relief. And everybody has 1 minute per day to spend on this. So that is my first recommendation. Hopefully you find that helpful. Again, remember the mantra: there will never be enough time for me to complete all of the tasks I want to complete, and that's okay. It's easy to spend our lives in a whirlwind of distraction. The TV on, the radio playing, our iPod playing, conversations going on in the cubicle next to us, etc. And when we especially think about being in our car, for instance, you can think about all of the distractions of billboards, different cars, different signs, and you get the idea that we're not really focused on anything. We have our mind in a lot of different places. We're always multitasking. And someone left a comment on our channel about mindfulness. And while there are volumes written on the topic of mindfulness, my personal opinion is that this is really just about paying attention. So rather than having our attention split between 20 different things, we're actually going to focus our intention on what we're doing. So this is great because you can actually create a stress relieving practice out of anything that you do just by being mindful about it. And I like to use the little acronym BRENT to help me remember. So that is breathe, relax, enjoy, notice, and thank. So it's about remembering to breathe, which is something that we can often just forget to do. Relaxing the tension in our bodies, as I mentioned in the last tip, relaxing our brow, relaxing the tension in our face, enjoying the things around us, noticing the things around us, looking, listening, being very focused on all of the different aspects of the experience we're experiencing, and being thankful, having gratitude for the things around us. Hopefully you can start using Brent in your own life to help make everything in your life a little bit more mindful, a little bit more focused. And as we put more focus and intention in the things that we do, we're not only going to get things done more quickly, but as I mentioned before, each of our daily activities, whether it's doing the dishes, making our bed, taking a shower, those activities can become stress relieving simply by adding mindfulness. Have some freaking fun already. Chances are, if you are stressed out, you do not make time for yourself to have fun, have hobbies, and just do things that you enjoy. But doing these things is incredibly important to help relieve stress, help improve our overall physical and mental health. So there's plenty of different things you can do. And as always, this is about finding the thing that you like to do. So you could take up yoga. We've got lots of follow along yoga videos on the channel to get you started, or even just follow along stretches if you are not ready to go for yoga yet. You could take up a new hobby. So maybe it's something artistic or creative, or you take an art class. I have a video called How to Find Your Passion, and that's a great video for people who feel like, oh, I don't really have any hobbies, I'm not really interested in anything, I don't really know what I would do when somebody tells you to go have fun or do something you enjoy. So check out the video on how to find your passion if you need some more ideas. You could also join a meetup group, you could join a book club, you could do journaling, you could trade massages with someone. Again, we've got lots of videos on our channel of how to give massages. And I promise you, if you can find someone to trade a massage with, that's going to provide stress relief for both of you. So take some time, have some fun, recognize that it's not just something selfish you're doing. This is something that is very important for maintaining your health. So go have some fun, do something you enjoy, and enjoy the stress relief that accompanies that. My next tip is to start recognizing your triggers. So we're all triggered by different things, and this tip is about the next time you're feeling stressed, you actually stop for a second and ask, what triggered this? So some common triggers are due dates, deadlines, traffic jams, running late for an appointment, maybe having a demanding boss or a demanding work situation, family stress, etc. Now, we only have so much power in avoiding our triggers, but that is one aspect of this tip. But the main thing is that we start recognizing our triggers and kind of keeping a mental list of those triggers so that we can be aware of them when they're about to happen, and so that once those triggers are triggered, we can implement the next tip. So once we have a general idea of what our different stress triggers are, then we can begin to implement our stress relief trick. And the cool thing about the stress relief trick is that it is different for everybody. And the whole idea is that you figure out what works for you. So you could do the 1-minute breathing meditation. You could remember Brent, breathe, relax, enjoy, notice, and thank. You could also do any number of different things. So some people will tap on acupressure points. Maybe it's humming the lyrics to your favorite song. Maybe it's taking a run around the block, or who knows. The whole idea is that you figure out something that you like to do, something that works for you, and that you start implementing your stress relief trick every time you feel stress coming on, or once you've already gotten stressed out. And over time, that will become a habit, and will become a habit that immediately starts to de-stress you whenever you start doing whatever is in your little stress relief trick. Once we've become more familiar with our stress triggers, we can start to recognize other factors that contribute to our stress. So a good example for me is hunger. I am 10 times more likely to get stressed out and upset over something if I haven't eaten than if I'm handling the same exact thing, but I have eaten. So on the way to dinner, I get road rage, but on the way home, it doesn't bother me so much. And my tip here is that I can avoid hunger and avoid the stress that usually comes along with me being hungry by carrying around snacks like trail mix or nuts, and avoiding skipping meals. Another factor that's very common is not getting enough sleep. So you'll notice if somebody hasn't gotten enough sleep, they'll be super cranky and a lot more likely to get stressed out. So as we start to recognize these different factors and recognize that these are things we can take care of, there's things we can do to avoid getting super hungry and things we can do to improve our sleep. We have a whole playlist of videos about sleep and tips for sleep on our channel, so I encourage you to check that out if you think that this might be something that applies to you. Normally, when we think about stress as an experience or an emotion that we feel. But it's important to recognize that stress is actually a physical condition, and when we experience stress, it actually turns on an entirely separate part of our nervous system, the sympathetic nervous system. And basically, you can think about in the wild the fight or flight response, where suddenly you've seen a bear and your fight or flight response goes on. Your body is getting ready to help you run, to help you escape that situation. So recognize that when we're feeling stressed out, our body is physically going through changes. So we release the stress hormone cortisol, for instance. And cortisol is known to inhibit digestion, which is why stress can cause stomach issues and digestive issues. It also has been linked to insomnia, has even been linked to infertility, and metabolic syndrome, which is often characterized by excess belly fat. And if we can start to recognize that stress, it's not just some pesky thing that we feel sometimes. This is actually a physical condition and is very stressful on our body, then it's going to help us lend a little more importance to stress relief activities. Another aspect of this tip is recognizing that certain things in our lifestyle and environment can also stress our body and stress our organ systems. So, excessive alcohol stresses your liver. A diet of processed foods loaded with chemicals is going to be stressful on your digestive system, your gallbladder, your liver. And improving our physical health by improving our diet, for instance, is actually going to relieve the stress that we feel because our organ systems, our overall health is going to be less stressed in general. It's also worth noting that the American Journal of Psychiatry has officially published studies that show a diet of processed foods is linked to increased anxiety, depression, and stress. And that a diet of whole natural foods, like we often promote on this channel and in the video, The Easiest Diet Ever, has been linked to decreased levels of stress and anxiety. My next tip is exercise. And I know that everybody hates hearing that they need to exercise. So in this tip, I'm going to give you some ideas on how you can incorporate exercise into your schedule already. So this is without making additional time for exercise. So while you're doing dishes, brushing your teeth, doing laundry, cooking dinner, you can actually keep your core engaged, just keep your ab muscles flexed. You can do calf raises, or you could do squats. You can incorporate movement, incorporate a little bit of physical exercise into the things that you're already doing. So maybe while you're watching a TV show or while you're watching a movie, you're down on the floor doing some sit-ups or doing some of the other exercises that we have in our fitness videos, which we have a lot of. You could also take the stairs instead of the elevator. When you're carrying back groceries from the grocery store, go ahead and just do a couple of curls with that bag. You could turn your stress relief fun activity, your hobby, into something that's also physical exercise. So maybe it's going for a run or going hiking, or maybe it's joining a soccer team or an after-school sports team. The idea here is that any little tiny way that we can add physical exercise into our lives is not only going to improve our overall health, but it's really going to help us not only handle stress when we inevitably get stressed out, but it's also going to just lower our overall stress levels and hopefully lend to us feeling a lot less stressed out. Get some fresh air. Oxygen is incredibly important for our mental clarity and not to mention our overall health and proper functioning of our bodies. So just going outside and getting some fresh air, getting some sunshine can be a really good way to relieve stress, especially if you're somebody who spends many hours at work sitting in front of the computer or sitting in a cubicle. I even have a little timer on my computer that will tell me, hey, you've been sitting here for an hour, go get up and walk around. And maybe you just go walk around the office and take some deep breaths. Maybe you actually go walk outside and enjoy the fresh air. But the idea here is that we just make time, even if it's just a couple minutes here and there, to do some deep breathing or to get out in the fresh air. If we're spending a lot of our time indoors or we're spending a lot of our time just sedentary, that is going to drastically increase the overall amount of stress that we're feeling and the likelihood that certain experiences will really, really stress us out. So you can remember Brent, breathe, relax, enjoy, notice, and thank or be thankful. And use this tip whenever you're feeling stressed out. It is completely free to walk outside and breathe some fresh air, so I encourage you to do it as much as possible. In a future video, I'm going to count down the top 10 most stressful things about modern day life. And in another video, I'm going to count down the top 10 foods that cause stress, so please be sure to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope that you found some useful tips in this video. If you did, please be sure to give me a thumbs up and share this video on the Facebook, the Twitter, your social media of choice. To learn more about me and my health coaching, you can visit CorrinaRachel.com. Be sure to subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you again next time. My next tip is exercise. And I know because people hate that. People hate when you tell them to exercise, I'll just say that. And if you'd like to learn me, if you'd like, is modern society stressing us out? Is modern society stressing us out? Is stress a modern form of mind control? Check out the video, Population Mind Control by Fear. For my top 10 tips on how to improve the quality of your sleep and get a good night's sleep, check out my video, Sleep Tips. We have hundreds of videos with follow-along stretches for stress relief, yoga for stress relief, how-to massage videos. Check out our playlist, Relaxation and Stress Relief. For a really simple guide to cleaning up your diet and taking stress-causing foods out of your diet, check out my video, The Easiest Diet Ever.